Hey, what's going on, guys? Tobin here with you. Thanks for checking out the channel. Much appreciated. If you could subscribe here, subscribe to the Tobin and Leroy show, which you could watch every single day on YouTube on Miami 56 WQAM. Always put the link in the description. If you guys could click that, subscribe, mean a lot to me. Enter the chat. You guys can interact with the show live there as well. And get in with all that silly sauce and what we like to do every single day. So Tyreek Hill has come in, the top 100 being revealed today by the NFL. They do in the top 10. And Tyreek Hill, he clocks in at number 7, the 7th best player according to the NFL players this year in the NFL. And that rounds out the Miami Dolphins list. Tyreek Hill, the highest ranked guy. They had 6 guys in total. You had Teron Armstead. He was 83. Tua was 82. Wilkins was 81. Waddle was 44. And Ramsey was 36. So 6 guys out there. The Eagles last year, they had 7 on their list. Jalen Hurts was a number 3 overall on the list. So, yeah, a lot of elite talent for your Miami Dolphins. And Tyreek Hill being at 7, I mean, you couldn't say enough about his season. Broke the Dolphins' record for receiving. Was at one point looking like he was on pace to break the NFL record for receiving. He says that he's going to try and crack 2,000 this year. Pretty crazy, pretty lofty goals, but that's the way that the cheetah rolls, you know. And I think the thing that was interesting about him is just the demeanor, the swagger that he did bring to this Dolphins team this year on so many levels. You know, brought this credibility of winning, being such a dynamic weapon for the Chiefs to help them get to the Super Bowl. He talked a lot of smack coming into the year. He backed it up. It also probably had to be a little bit tough to watch his former team go and win the Super Bowl, but it's not like he didn't have this fantastic year, and it was a big reason, I think, in Tua having the type of season that he did, the type of resurgence that he did. Mike McDaniel gets a lot of the credit, but I would say Tyreek Hill, if you want to talk about, you know, Tua's rise and Tua's development, I mean, Tyreek Hill is a huge reason for it. And so much was spoken about of confidence and what mentality Tua had coming into last year. And, you know, Tyreek Hill publicly, really put his reputation out on the line for Tua. And when healthy, I think that a lot of what he said turned out to be pretty spot on, you know, with between his accuracy, his ability, what he's been doing, how much he was teasing it with Jalen Waddle coming into the year, what they were going to do, and what those two did as a duo with Tua, electrified the fan base. Everybody was so geeked up to watch these guys go out there, be extremely fast, scare the absolute daylights out of every single defense. You know, it's and you just have to nod a lot of that credit to Cheetah. He was huge this year and still is one of just the most feared weapons in all of the league. I don't doubt that, you know, he can better next year. I think that's not out of the realm of possibility, because you think about how many games that he had to go last year without Tua in his back pocket. Now, he still had some good games without Tua. Don't get me wrong. Like, he still had some. That's the thing what made it impressive. He still had a couple performances with Teddy Bridgewater where, you know, like, damn, this guy really is impressive. By the way, Teddy Bridgewater signing with the Lions. So shout out to Teddy B, finding a new home with Man Campbell. But I look at what he brought last year, just in confidence and been there, done that, and a bravado that I think really did help this team in a big way. He did speak this week on what he thinks the improvements can be from last year, and this is what Tyreek Hill had to say to the media.
Well, I know a lot of ways that we can be better, you know, and this is speaking as one of the leaders from the offense, man. Like, we got to fix our pre-snap penalties for us to be better in anything, you know, and I believe us having referees out here is going to help us get better from that, because I believe we was like 31st last year in like pre-snap penalties, and that's bad, right? So if we clean those up, man, and we execute and, you know, we do what we've been doing out here in practice each and every day, man, like, I can see us being another top 5 offense in this NFL. So it definitely can get scary, like, when you think about all of the weapons that the Dolphins have. And just the people that they have added to this team to like protect our quarterback. So it can get real scary.
It can get scary, and Tua's even used that term too. That he thinks that this could be a scary, scary offense. And yeah, that's one of the things that I think a lot of us saw last year was the pre-snap penalties were very frustrating. You know, first year offense, first year coach, first year play caller, whole team learning a new offense, like that stuff getting cleaned up. You do think that this stuff can run a lot crisper and be in a good spot. I know a lot of people are saying, the defense is kind of giving the offense a little bit of business so far in camp, but like, look, the Plaid just went on. It's the first week. Guys are kind of just getting into the whole lot of the deal. So especially in that scrimmage, I don't pay, I don't worry about it too much. And it is one of those things where it's like Mike McDaniel said last year, he's like, you're happy, you're sad. Like it could be frustrating with the way that the offense is looking at times, but then you think about it on the other side, like, okay, but that defense, you wanted to see this improvement from them, and especially with Jalen Ramsey being out. So to hear that from Tyreek, I think is right. Like they got to get that stuff right. They got to get that stuff really polished off and get cleaned up. But if it does, you're not going to be shooting yourself in the foot so much, especially with, some of the rhythm of the stuff. We know that they like to go emotional a lot, show some of that stuff. But, for them to get that stuff really buttoned up would be huge. Tyreek Hill also discussed about how his chemistry with Tua has grown in year 2 with his quarterback.
Oh, it's good. It's grown crazy, man. Just the reception I had yesterday where he was able to throw it in between like 3 defenders was crazy. So it just goes to show the amount of trust that he has in me, and, I just feel like it's going to continue to grow.
Which is like, it's absolutely what you want from them. And you think that, you saw some of the offseason work that they did with each other, that they were trying to get a lot of that down with one another. Everybody talks about, and Tyreek talks about, the vocality of Tua's leadership and that he is, in people's faces. If everybody saw that video of him kind of chewing everybody out and giving the offense the business. And I think that stuff's great. I mean, like, that's all the stuff that comes with maturity. I don't think it's like anything special. I don't think it's like anything out of this world. It's all kind of just normal. And I think that's probably one of the things that's been good about this offseason with the Dolphins is that there was a lot of stuff that wasn't normal last year as far as you're bringing star power. You have a new coach. He's a little bit weird. We don't know what this Mike McDaniel's going to bring to the system. He's kind of hilarious, so we're all looking forward to it. But you did see the weapons and the fact that it all kind of came to fruition with Tua having this kind of prove it or lose it type of pressure on him. And I think a lot of people look at it and say he proved it. He proved the coach right. He proved people who did believe in him that when this guy plays football, damn, really, really impressive, really, really dangerous. And the fact that he's got, one of the scariest receivers in the league and one of the scariest weapons doesn't hurt either, because as we've seen, like, they can be quite explosive. They can go get points in a hurry. They can get you back in a game. They can score 5-6 touchdowns in a game that looks grim, and there's nothing there. And by the way, there's also another younger version of him on the other side of Jalen Waddle. Like, it's damn scary. And it was actually funny. I was looking at this list, and I was like, I wonder, out of everybody on this list, who takes the biggest jump? Because you think about it, 82, Tua, probably the most primed to do it, because if Tua does have a monster year, quarterbacks are always going to probably take the biggest leap. But you think about Christian Wilkins, the way everybody's talking about him, he was at 81. Is it either a possibility that he could get himself into a top 15 next year, a top 15 position next year in the eyes of the players? And then you look at Jalen Waddle, who is I think in a lot of ways just scratching the surface of things, and, has probably the fewest steps he can go. And he's also got the cheetah on his team. So everybody would think, it's going to be hard to make this massive leap, but maybe it won't be. Maybe it won't be. Maybe people will just continue to be dazzled by what Jalen Waddle can go out there and do, and what he can do when it comes to performing for this team. That's all. It's all very, very exciting for what they can do. So Tyreek Hill coming in at 7 on this list, appropriate. I think a good spot for him, and I think for this offense, to look where they were at certain points last year, one of the scariest teams in the league, where they ended up, which was a little bit banged up and not quite as humming as they were, with some things to clean up. I think that everybody has seen what the potential of the offense can be. Now you're just like, hey, can they put this thing together for a season? What kind of, in their words, what kind of terror can they put around the rest of the league? How scary can that be for the rest of the league to go out there and face? And knowing that, yeah, maybe we haven't seen the best of it. I mean, it's not going to be easy to top because Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle are putting up record Dolphins receiving records last year. Tyreek Hill's, taking the number by himself as a tandem, but it's also just kind of as a first year where it was very heavily weighted towards them. It was, hey, let's get the ball to our best players. Maybe the run game wasn't as balanced. So even if the numbers aren't as gaudy this year, it's just with those two in particular, it doesn't mean that this is an offense that can't even be more dangerous because they figure out how to balance it out a little bit better. I mean, they still don't have a tight end. So, I mean, that's not really going to change. And then, for the other receivers on it, like to go in line with, you lose, Sherfield last year, who was pretty damn solid, but you get Braxton Berrios in, who seems great. Robbie Chosen's definitely done some things in this league and has put up some things. He definitely could be a little bit squirrely off the field and things like that. Still seeing if Azukama, who seems to just always flash in these preseasons, and if he's healthy and good to go, we'll see what he ends up doing in these preseason games. But I mean, you see the physicality that could be there if he knows the playbook and he knows his stuff. It's got a skill set that this team could definitely use. Especially in those tough catches and knowing that they get into those, you need that big body, that strong catches. Maybe he could turn into something there. Cedric Wilson, I don't know what to expect from him, just because it kind of felt like he was written off last year. By the end of it, he was just returning punts, basically. So I don't know what the future is there. But look, if you have Penguin and Cheetah there, the trickle-down effect on everybody else feels like it's going to be pretty damn good. And that there's still, in their words, something to be feared with this team, and they can be super, super scary, for sure.